StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are starting part one of a two-part mini-series. It's actually really going to be a four-part mini-series, but I'm going to ask and answer the same question in two different ways over the course of 4 episodes. The question is, can, open quote, the little guy still make it in the United States of America? That's what we're going to answer. I'm going to tell you the yes side, and I'm going to tell you what some people see as the no side. And again, this is going to be what's going to be a 4-part series. And as some of you know, if you're familiar with my style, on many topics, I don't do it on every topic, but on many topics, I will argue from both sides of the conversation. I will tell you why someone could see it as a yes this way, and someone could see it as the exact opposite the other way. Same way I do with a presidential election coming up. I'll tell you why this person could win. I'll tell you why the other person could win, or I'll tell you if either one wins, here's why. And what I'm going to do in this series is similar to that. So what I'm going to do here first is answer the question, can the little guy still make it in America? I'm going to answer in the affirmative, and I'm going to give you a 2-part series on why the little guy can still make it in America. Then, after today and tomorrow's episode, I'm going to give you the no, the little guy cannot make it in America points, and I'm going to lay out the points of what someone who does not believe that would say. Now, if you notice my language here, I hope maybe you can catch my drift. Do I believe, quote unquote, the little guy, meaning the person who is, let's just say the person who's starting at zero with no advantages and no handouts and no access, can they make it in America? The answer is yes. However you define make it, however you define little guy, however you define making it, yes, the little guy can still make it in America. That's my personal opinion. What I'm going to do in this 2-part series is I'm going to give you the look at this question from both angles, the affirmative and the negative. And then I'm going to tell you what I think about the points behind each one. Everybody got it? Good. Point number 1. Today's topic, once again, is part 1 of 2. Can the little guy still make it in America? Yes, he can. Number 1, access to opportunity. Access to opportunity. America is known as the land of opportunity, and everyone in America has access to opportunity. Now, not all of us have access to the same opportunities, and not all of us have the same level of access. For example, if you go and apply for a job, there are certain roles that you can be hired for off the street without a college degree. However, there are other roles that if you do have a college degree, you have more options open to you at the exact same company. So at one company, you can only come in as maybe a maintenance man or a rank and file associate. But if you have a college degree, now you can come in, maybe just go straight to middle management just because you have the college degree. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is we all have access. We have different levels of access depending on who you are, where you come from, and what credentials you are bringing with you. But no one is denied access to opportunity at all. No one has 0. So depending on whom you ask, everyone can possibly still become successful. But at the same time, no one can, because they don't have the same things that other people have. Again, depending on who you ask. So somebody will say, well, I can become successful. I can be anything I want to be. Then another person says, well, hey, I don't have the resources that person over there has, so I can't become successful because I don't have what they have. This is a very common refrain amongst adults, and it alarms me how so many people think this way. Well, this person, they started off with money. Oh, this person, they're from this country. This person, they had family members who knew this. So what? Again, here's the statistical fact, statistical truth, everyone. The majority of millionaires and billionaires in the United States of America are self-made. I'm not saying you need to aim to be a millionaire or a billionaire. I'm using that as an example, as a canvas for whatever success you're trying to create. The majority of people who have created that success, they didn't do it because they had some handout that you didn't have. It's because, and they often started at the same position from which you are starting, and they went and made it. Just because there are some exceptions who had some advantages does not mean that you can't make it without the advantages. So one of the biggest problems, because this becomes a matter of perspective more than it's a matter of fact or objectivity. That's what this question is really about. It's much more about perspective. One of the biggest problems that you get when you have humanity or any other living being is, it has been proven to be true with monkeys as well, is that people tend to look at the food on other people's plate and compare the meal that is in front of you with the meal that's in front of the other person. And if you notice an imbalance between what that person has, and I want you to connect this to the opportunities a person has and the level of opportunity another person has. If you notice an imbalance between what they have and what you have, you become unhappy, even if without that comparison, you'll be perfectly happy. Isn't that interesting? I remember I was at a conference and Daniel Pink, he's an author, he was speaking, and he showed this video where they had two monkeys in cages. They were in separate cages, but the cages were right next to each other. They could see each other and all that. And a human comes up and gives one of the monkeys a treat. And I believe the treat was like a vegetable or something like that. And actually, no, it wasn't a vegetable. It was like a cookie, a sugar cookie. So the monkey grabs the sugar cookie, eats it, and is very happy. Then the human goes over to the other cage right next to it and offers that monkey a treat. Now, the treat that it offered the second monkey was a vegetable, like a string bean, a green bean, something like that. And the monkey is a very funny video. This is the reason why Daniel Pink played it in the middle of his presentation. The monkey picks up the green bean, looks at it, and then he throws it at the human who had given him the treat and starts to kind of make a ruckus because it saw what the other monkey had gotten, and it was mad because it wasn't getting the same thing the other monkey got, because the other monkey's treat looked more scrumptious than the vegetable that the second monkey was getting. And they tried it again. The monkey did the same thing over and over again. And that's the point. That's how humans are. Humans were the exact same way. That second monkey would have been completely content had it just been handed that treat of the vegetable if it didn't see what the other monkey had gotten first. And this is how humans are. When you see what someone else has, if you don't have the same thing, you go into complaining mode. You go into bitching mode. Even though what you have is completely fine, when you compare it to someone else's, it's harder to be happy about it. And that's the issue. This is one of the biggest problems we have in Western society, and it's been consistently preached to the masses of people that billionaires, quote unquote, and quote unquote the rich are the reason why they are struggling. And it's because you are just like the monkey, looking at what other people have on their plate and getting mad that the food on your plate is not equal to theirs. Problem is, there's a whole lot of factors that go into what food is on your plate right now. It's what we call a multivariate situation, meaning there are many variables besides just one. It's not just because you're black. It's not because you're a woman. Not because of the town you're from. It's not because some policy doesn't exist anymore. It's not because the rich got a tax break. It's not because of any of that nonsense. There are several different things that go into it. Those ain't none of them. Those are not any of them. And again, most people don't want to hear this because it reeks of self-accountability. And you start preaching self-accountability to people, you're going to lose a lot of your audience pretty quickly. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is can the little man still make it in America? The answer is yes. Number 2, we are still living in a performance and results-based business. Everybody. Now, that doesn't mean opinions don't matter. It doesn't mean politics don't play a role. It doesn't mean relationships can't alter a situation. They absolutely can, they do, and they will. There is still a chance, however, for anyone to make it in the United States of America, regardless of the circumstances you started with. Why? Because the outcomes that you get in your life are still based on your ability to perform and to produce the desired results for whomever you are seeking to serve. As long as you can perform and produce the desired results for the people you're looking to serve, you have an opportunity in life. If you have the ability to do this, you have the potential to win, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of where you started, and regardless of even how things look right now. Your job is to just find the right people and the right vehicle with which to show your performance, and the right people for whom you can and should produce a result. If you can do those things, you can get whatever you want, and proverbially, you can write your own check. People who can make certain things happen, and it's pretty well guaranteed that they can make certain things happen, they are able to call their own shot. They're able to choose who they work with. They're able to dictate the terms of engagement, and people are willing to go with it. Why? Because people cannot get what this person is offering from anyone other than this person. They can't get it any other way than by going through that individual. That's the place that you want to occupy in the marketplace, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are listening right now who are in the marketing space, you want to occupy a space in which the only way to get what you offer is to go through you. In other words, you are not commoditized. When you're commoditized, that means I can go with anyone that looks and sounds like you because you are pretty much interchangeable with everyone else. You go to the grocery store and you look at the ketchup and the mustard on the shelves, you will notice that they are generally pretty, what's the word? You can swap them in and out. It really doesn't matter which one you pick. It's all going to pretty much taste the same. Now, some brands, if they do a good enough job, they're able to build up enough brand affinity between them and their customers that the customers keep buying specifically their type. So I just want Hunt's ketchup, if they still exist. I don't even know what the ketchup companies are called these days. Heinz 57 ketchup. Or I want coffee, but not just any coffee. It got to be from Starbucks. It got to be a certain type of coffee. Even though you go to other places, they could probably replicate that same coffee. But in Starbucks, they got to do it to start. If you're in Starbucks and you're a Starbucks customer, you want to get it from Starbucks. Why? Because it feels good to get it from Starbucks. You want to put yourself in that position as a marketer where it feels good for people to pay you for the stuff that you're selling because they have an affinity to it. They're connected deeply to the thing. So the second point is that we're still in a performance and a results-based business and is not based on anything else. If you can do these things, you can get whatever you want and you can write your own check. You can tell the world what you want and the world will deliver. Number 3, today's topic once again is, can a little man still make it in America? The answer is yes. Number 3, America rewards innovation. Always has and always will. If you can come up with a new way to do a thing or a new way to solve a problem and it's different from what has always been done, and it makes things more efficient or more effective or just improves in some way or other how something is currently being done. You improve on a current thing, you position yourself to be rewarded handsomely. It doesn't guarantee that you will be. You should make sure you protect yourself legally and things like that. But you put yourself in a position to be rewarded handsomely simply because you are doing things that or providing things that make life easier, better, faster for other people. And the only way to do business in life is you must do something for someone else to where they are willing to give their money to you in exchange for what you've done. This applies when you have a job as well. You do your job well, you get to keep getting paid every week because your boss is going to keep paying you because you maintain employment. You do a poor job, you're going to get fired. That's how it works. So the good news, folks, about this point here is that it is not limited to being from a certain place, being a certain race or gender, or being connected in any way to anyone other than yourself. You simply have to have a good idea that will benefit other people. If you have good material that will benefit other people, you have an opportunity to move up. That's it. The good thing about this is that ideas come from the mind and everyone has access to their own mind. And as a matter of fact, unlike anything else we want to talk about in this series, you have full 100% control over your mind. So if you can just take control of your thinking and get your thinking lined up in the right way, then you'll stop telling yourself that you don't have an opportunity to be successful or things can't work out or there's nothing that could possibly happen that's going to change or solve the problem at hand. There's a whole lot of things that can happen. You just have to put yourself in the right frame to where it can happen to, for, and with you. So let's recap today's class, which is, can the little guy, quote unquote, still make it in America? My answer is yes. I'm doing a 2-part series on this answer of yes. Number 1, access to opportunity. Everyone does not have access to opportunity, but everyone has access to opportunity, but not all the same opportunities and not the same level of opportunity. Somebody may be able to access the company through the maintenance man role. Some others exercise it through a middle management role. Number 2, there's still a performance and results-based business that we are in called life. And there is still a chance for anyone to make it in America, regardless of where you started, because the outcomes you get are all based on your ability to perform and produce the desired results for the audience that you are seeking to serve. As long as you can do that, you can get what you want. And again, the opportunity for upward mobility is high in the United States of America, and the freedoms that we have to exercise that pursuit of upward mobility is more open than it is anywhere else in the world. Number 3, America rewards innovation. In other words, you come up with a new, unique way of doing things more effectively, more efficiently, or just generally better. America is going to reward you. The world, the marketplace will reward you for bringing something new to the table that was needed and is useful. You can figure that out. It doesn't really matter your background or who your parents were or who they weren't or any of those things. You're going to get what you want, but you must be able and willing to innovate. And at some point, you're going to have to stick your neck out there. Tomorrow, we're going to go on to part 2 of this series. Between now and then, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can learn more about who I've been coaching, who I'm working with, what results we got for those people, and how you can be the next on the menu to join the university. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all